Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Big Things Kentucky. Coach Bew, how you doing, man? Super Bowl champs, baby.
As always, make sure you subscribe, share, like Big Things Kentucky on YouTube. You can also get nice young lady we talked to on Twitter. We got a shirt coming for you. Coach Trier got one coming for you as well. Hey, y'all can find me at Coach Truck, baby. We selling shirts. We go all the way to 5X, baby, for the big fellas. We ain't like some of these pretty companies stop at 3A. We go up to the big fellas. I'm Coach Bew. My main man, Coach TB on the side, man, Coach Truck. I don't know if you won a Super Bowl or not. You had a Chiefs shirt on early in the day. Now you have this Buck shirt. I don't know who's making these shirts, but I need to talk to somebody to stop doing it.
Hey, man, good game. Well worth the, admission. I had fun. And bringing the championship back to the Sunshine State, which I originated from, baby.
See, this is the thing about it, though. People don't understand. We tried to get you to be a Buck fan a long time ago. You like, nah, my uncle's a Bucks fan. I don't want to fool with no Bucks. They terrible. They suck. I'm a Rams fan. They all comes full circle. Here you are right now. I hope that you get to Florida, they gang you get home again, Florida. I hope they gang you. I hope they jump you in the front yard and leave you there. I'm coming down there. I'm driving all the way down just to kick you one time, make sure they get you good.
Well, Coach, man, here we are by the midway point of the high school basketball season. It's been a slow grind. We're going to bring a man from Harold Leader Prep, Jared Peck, to kind of catch us up on exactly what's been going on in high school basketball season. What's going on with you, Jared?
I'm working today, but taking a break with you guys. Glad you're having me on.
Always a pleasure to have a superstar celebrity on. Always a pleasure for little old Big Things Kentucky.
Now, Jared, man, we got through football season relatively unscathed. Basketball season has been a whole nother animal, man. We're almost halfway through the season, I'd say, and it's been slow going, man. How you looking at things right now?
Well, it has been slow going. We've had a number of COVID cancellations. Each week it seems to be getting worse, but last week was actually an improvement. There were fewer games canceled last week than the week before. It had been going about 16%, then 25%, and then a third, and then more than a third. And last week it dropped back down, and we had 10 fewer games last week canceled than the week before in both boys and girls. And so in Louisville, the Louisville public schools have joined the fray. So that's also helped. So now we can see teams like Male, and we can see teams on the boys' side, and Butler and Manual on the girls' side. And I actually did that on Saturday. I went to Butler. They had a showcase event, which they had games all day long. And, every game was a really good game. Involved some of the top teams in the state. Butler was there. Sacred Heart was there. Bethlehem was there. Marshall County was there. It was a great day of basketball.
All right, man. So in our region, I know it's been tough sledding. I think on the boys' side, I think it's Model in the 11th region has the most games played at like 13. So that's kind of shows where we are right now. But in the 11th region, I mean, everybody, we came in early thinking Lexington Catholic was going to be the favorite. Do you see anything changing that of the game so far that we've had?
I think Frederick Douglass can give them a run. I think Frederick Douglass has got enough pieces, and Deshaun Jackson is a scorer. The thing about Lexington Catholic is they're sneaky good defensively, and they got Ben Johnson who can get his buckets no matter what. But that game was played last year. Douglas seems maybe that they're like a little better than last year. Tyson Barrett looks like a good player. Kai Simpson looks like a pretty good player, and they're helping share the load. They all have had big games in the last week. I like Douglas. Douglas kind of fell apart against Dunbar before the COVID struck. They had a double-digit lead on them in the fourth quarter, and that all came flying apart, and they lost that game. And Dunbar is also pretty good. They got Tim Hall, but Dunbar's had they've had a COVID cancellation or even two, I think, and that's kind of stymied their progress. So we'll have to see whether they can get their feet back under them. But in the 11th region, Lexington Catholic is still they're on another level. I think Douglas can get to that level, but the Douglas loss to Dunbar concerns me for them. And I think Lex Catholic is not going to have too many nights off.
So speaking of Dunbar, Coach Truck spoke about them earlier and saying how this had to be the year for them to step up. Do you feel like this is the team to make a run to the state championship, this Dunbar boys team?
No, I mean, Tim Hall is still just a junior. I think they got another year to get it done. It'll be a lot easier to get it done without Ben Johnson in the picture for them, and Deshaun for that matter. It'd be a lot easier for them to get there. I think, athletically and coaching wise, I think they've got enough. I certainly think that on a given night, Dunbar can beat just about anybody.
They do look good getting off the bus, don't they?
Yeah, they look good getting off the bus. They look good when they get their stuff running in the gym. But I think they came off their COVID protocol the other night, and Madison Central handled them pretty easily. But I just worry about them when things start going their way. This is what happened with Douglas last year. When they stop making shots, can they still keep their head up and keep defending? When other teams, more experienced teams like Lexington Catholic will just keep defending you until they get an easy bucket. And what happened with Douglas last year is they would go through droughts, and those droughts would kill them. They couldn't recover from not scoring for a while and keep defending on their end. And it only takes one or two possessions for it to go sideways. You get behind by a couple buckets, you might be able to get back in it, but climbing that hill constantly is a drag on you.
And Jared, man, I want to step outside of the Big Things County for a little bit and talk about somebody who's been special, Jeff Shepard's son, Reed Shepard. Man, is for South Florida, is he everything we seeing? I know you covered the whole state, so how is he, and is he that special?
He has a flair about him. I went down to see them play Madison Southern, and I think I can liken it to, it's like Jason Williams, Marshall, Florida, NBA player Jason Williams, that kind of dynamic flair that he had passing. Reed Shepard's got a little bit of that in him. He's not just, he looks like a normal 6'2" kid. He's athletic. He got some little shoulders on him, but he's a skinny athletic kid. And then he moves, and he moves different. I mean, I see a lot of good players. Deshaun Jackson's absolutely a great player. Ben Johnson's a great player. Reed Shepard is just a sophomore. He jumps higher than you think he can jump when you see him. He's higher. When he goes for a ball, he's higher than everybody else. And the passes that he makes, it's not just, and the entire North Laurel team could make, exceptional passes. But I mean, his bread and butter is he can beat anybody who's guarding him off the dribble. He gets into the lane, and then he jumps 3 feet in the air, hangs there, and sees who's open. And if nobody's open, he still has time to shoot it. That's a pretty impressive skill. But a lot of times he's going right to the free throw line, jumping in the air like he's going to shoot, and then he'll dish off to a 3-point shooter. And all his teammates can make 3-point shots. It's really phenomenal. I would say that the hype, he put up 45 on Covington Catholic. Covington Catholic just beat Male fairly well. Male was considered the preseason #1 in the state, and Covington Catholic beat Male and did not beat North Laurel in overtime. That means North Laurel is for real, and Reed Shepard is for real. That's what all that means. He is a dynamic player, and the hype on him is already out of this world. He's really exciting, and he deserves the hype he's getting. So let's hope he can continue doing those special things, big things, in fact.
Yes, sir.
The sky's the limit. He's only got one D1 offer now. It's because he's 6'2" is the reason why he's only got Iowa as a Power 5 D1 offer right now. But as he goes through this season, he's averaging more than 30 points a game. He rebounds really well, and he passes the ball extraordinarily well. I mean, there are not many guys walking around right now that can go for 30, 10, 10, and almost 10 steals. Then he gets steals. He gets steals at the half court. He had a dunk opportunity in the first half where he got a steal at half court and took it to the rim, and he mistimed the dunk and slammed it in there. But then he kept the play alive and got a 3-point play out of it when he picked the ball back up. So he missed the dunk, but got a 3-point play. Reed Sheppard is the son of 2 UK standout players. Stacey Reed was a phenomenal player from that county and played for UK women's basketball and was a really good UK women's basketball player. And Jeff Sheppard is a UK legend. It's not a stretch of the imagination to say Jeff Sheppard I think he's got 2 rings. One of them, he was the main fixture on that team and was a huge part of that championship run. Rex Chapman on steroids is what he's going to be if he keeps playing.
Ooh. That's big right there. Hey, I can't. That's a big statement there, Jared. That's a big statement. Big statement.
Yeah, well, for high school level, I mean, the closest thing would be Richie Farmer. Richie Farmer, Richie Farmer was a phenomenon, but Richie Farmer was doing it in state title games and region championship games from 7th grade. Basically, an 8th grader with a mustache and could score 40. That was Richie Farmer. People forget those days because we're old. We don't forget that. But he was a phenomenon, and Reed Sheppard is on that kind of level phenomenon.
All right, we'll jump back into Big Thing County real quick. I just wanted to hear about Reed. Is Ben Johnson and Deshaun Jackson legitimate candidates for Mr. Basketball, in your opinion?
I think so. I don't believe that there are too many people in that conversation. Zion Harmon has been injured this season, but Zion Harmon's for Marshall County. He played for Bowling Green. He won a state title with Bowling Green as an 8th grader. For people who don't know who Zion Harmon is, I don't know what planet you fell off of or cave you got out of if you don't know who Zion Harmon is. But I mean, he's getting his numbers this year when he's playing. I think he's hurt right now. He was the overwhelming number 1 preseason choice of the coaches for preseason player of the year. It wasn't even close. And then it was Ben Johnson and then some other players down the line. Deshaun Jackson came in at number 15. So he's got a little bit of, road
to make
PR to build up. I mean, they have to make a really good run and win some games, and they need to beat Catholic, I think. Both of their bodies of work are pretty good. Zion Harmon has a really good body of work. He has a state title. He has a number of high school state records for 3-point shooting, 3-point shooting and a half, 3-point shooting in a game. I mean, and he's been a phenomenal player for a long time. Even sitting out a year and transferring 3 times, Zion Harmon is still in that conversation. Now, people think that these transfers and that year off are going to hurt him. Depends on what he does when he comes back from injury and what Marshall County does. Right now, Marshall County is not the best team in the first region. McCracken County is still the best team there. I think if that Lexington Catholic had managed to beat Scott County at the level 3 championship, Ben Johnson would be the front runner, no question.
All right. Now, as we take a peek on the girls' side, right now, Dunbar is still undefeated, and they are rolling, the Dunbar girls. We've kind of watched them mature and grow, and this is kind of like their, final act, I guess, as far as with the 2 big guns being seniors. How do you see them in the region as far as taking on, I guess, really, we got Franklin County, and who else maybe as far as contending for the region title?
I think it's Franklin County. I think Great Crossing has a shot. They're in Franklin County's district, so as long as Great Crossing takes care of business and manages to get to the region and get a good draw, I think Great Crossing could make a run. There's not a lot of teams outside of that really can hang with those 2 or 3. I mean, Great Crossing kind of stumbled the other night against Danville, but they've been playing a lot of games in a row and coming off a COVID protocol. Franklin County is really the class of the field. I saw them play Anderson County. We can talk about Anderson County in a minute, but ball security is the problem for both Franklin County and for Paul Lawrence Dunbar. They have trouble hanging on to the ball in key spots. And so when you have a turnover problem, that's going to hurt you in big games. And both of those teams have turnover problems. We didn't get to see that game played. They were supposed to play each other last week or the week before, and the game got canceled because of COVID. Both of them, well, I think Dunbar has avoided COVID, but Franklin County has been hit and missed like 2 weeks of play. I think Dunbar, if they play a really good game, can beat Franklin County. But I think if they don't have a great game and don't get great play out of Isaiah Campbell and Elise Ellison Coons and Tanaya Cecil, they're going to have trouble with Franklin County, because Brooklyn Miles is the answer to all problems Franklin County has. She can she's the Tennessee commit. She's faster than almost any female basketball player in the state, and she can go get hers. If they have to have a bucket, they can just run a play for her and get that bucket. And she can take care of the ball, and she can steal, and she can change a game. She has trouble against some other teams, but that's not the kind of trouble that Dunbar can present them most from what I've seen thus far. Anderson County is the #1 team in the state. There is no question. Anderson County and Amia Jenkins, who was at Henry Clay for a time.
Yeah.
Anderson County is the #1 team in the state. They don't have ball control problems. They run their stuff, and they don't need Amia Jenkins to have a great game to beat you. They've got several good players, including Tiffany Riley. And they run offense like you would not believe. Their offense is so efficient. They get the ball where it needs to be, and they get the open shot that they want every time down the court, and they can really defend. When they played Franklin County, Amia Jenkins was put on Brooklyn Miles, and Brooklyn Miles disappeared under Amia Jenkins. And Amia is just a junior. She's an exceptional defender. She's averaging 16 points a game, but they can just tell her to go play defense and stop your best player. And if they stop your best player and you don't have another answer, you're cooked against Anderson County. Now, Bethlehem, which is also a really good team, took them all the way down to the wire and lost by a point to them. But nobody's beat Anderson County yet. They're going to get a big test, I think, next week when they play Bullitt East. Bullitt East has a 6'6" center, and Bullitt East is really good. Gracie Merkel is the 6'6" center there. That's going to tell us a lot about Anderson County. Anderson County's going through, they play Sacred Heart, they play Elizabethtown. Basically, if you can name the top 10 teams in the girls' side, or maybe a top 15, Anderson County's playing all of them, and Anderson County so far is beaten most of them. And I think they'll be favored in most of those matchups. I just saw Sacred Heart, who you always think is their year after year. They got beat over the weekend by Cooper, who is coming on and is going to give Ryle a problem in the. I think people have believed that maybe Clark County without Kennedy Igo is going to go away. I saw Clark County play on Saturday against Bowling Green. Clark County is not going away. Clark County has the Byer sisters. Brianna and now Sierra is playing point for them. You know, they lost to Paris out of the gate in the first game of the season, and I was like, "What's up with that?" And then I think they dropped another one. But when they they beat Ryle last week, and when they beat Ryle, it was like, "Hello!" And then Ryle turned around and beat Scott, and I think Scott beat Bishop Brossart, and so Bishop Brossart and Scott and GRC are the 3 contenders for the 10th region. And all of them have got wins that make it look like GRC could beat anybody. So you didn't think maybe that they were going to be there, because Bishop Brossart has Marie Kiefer, who's the big center that averages like 20 points a game and gets 10 boards. You know, Scott has Maya Meredith, who's coming off her ACL injury. She's averaging 20 points a game. She's going to Western. But I think people might have counted Clark County out. Now Clark County's playing zone now. I always play man-to-man, but he's falling back. There's not enough time to instill man-to-man. But Clark County looked really, really good on Saturday. And I think they'll be contending the 10th region. Other teams I saw Marshall County play on Saturday. Marshall County has a 6'1" center, or 6'1" forward, 6'2" forward, who's the primary scorer, a 5'11" and 1 wing, and a couple of senior guards. Marshall County is long, athletic. One of the players, they were the first region champion last year. And we don't talk about the first region because it's all the way out there past everything. And generally they don't come to the Sweet 16 and do a whole lot. But Marshall County is long and athletic, and they can score. And they've got this girl named Sophie Galloway. She's committed to Tennessee to play to run track. She's the state champion in the triple jump and the long jump and the 300-meter hurdles. And two of those events, she's the back-to-back state championship as a champion as a freshman and a sophomore. She's 6'1", and she took her junior year off. She was at Graves County. She came to Marshall County. She's playing basketball in Marshall County. She went for 20 the other night, and then the night I saw her, she went for something like 12 and 11 rebounds. And having 6'1" and 6'2" in the post, that athletic, they beat a Bardstown team. That Bardstown team is exceptional. They've got Jalea Cotton down at Bardstown, and the fight in the 5th region between Bardstown, Bethlehem, and Elizabethtown is going to be worth going down there to see or getting on video. Those are 3 great teams. And Marshall County had that team beat pretty good until they started pressing and getting their guards in foul trouble late. But Sophie Galloway is a phenomenal athlete. And just imagine just like bringing in a pogo stick to just come in there and play defense and rebound. And it changes them completely. It makes them more dynamic. It makes them more dangerous. And I think that 1st region Marshall County team could get to the Sweet 16 and make a run.
Hey, Jerry, man, I know you put football to the back burner. You focusing all on girls and boys basketball. But I got to ask, man, with all these changes in football, the coaching changes, moving here or there, coaching coming back, what's the coaching hire or fire that surprised you more than anything?
Oh, I think the shock of the last week and a half has been the Danville firing, which is causing, ripple effects in that community. I think they had a meeting last night where they heard from the community. I mean, people are upset about that Danville firing. People don't understand it. I tried to put in a call into Coach Clay Clevenger down there. I haven't got a call back from him, but that was a shocking. I mean, he won a state championship 3 years ago, and they have 2 kind of off seasons. There's some things going on behind the scenes there that's weird. I mean, if you're firing the coach who 3 years ago got you a state title, who do you want?
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. Who do you want? What is your priority there?
What about bringing Bob Spear back to Kentucky, going to Highlands? What do you think of that?
That's amazing. I mean, that's really amazing. I was looking through what he did in Georgia. He was a pretty good coach in Georgia. He took North Gwinnett to a couple state championships, and I think Gwinnett won the year after he decided to step down from there and take another challenge closer to the ocean. It seemed like, but yeah, that's it was interesting that Franklin County's Eddie James, he went up there, he got introduced, and then the next day he kind of went, I think I want to stay in Franklin County, and told them no, and so that's kind of set up this whole Bob Spire return, because the athletic director at Highlands played for Spire at Lexington Catholic. He's been up there for only 8 months. It's just a conversation they'd been having over the winter. It's like gauging to see if interest can come back there, and apparently it all worked out, and they seem happy. So hopefully that works out. It would be nice to have Highlands, up in the conversation, top 10 conversation again.
Great interview with Jerry Peck, man. Coach, man, I don't think I've met 2 people with such a wealth of knowledge about everything throughout the state. How this man retains all the information is crazy. David is talking about some football hires and fires, which is big around the state. Good man, it's always a pleasure to have Jerry Peck on. Always a pleasure, Coach. Always.
You can definitely tell this is his passion, and
it's not just a job. It's something he loves to do. Yes, it is. Absolutely.
He loves doing it.
And I bet you can ask him about the 3rd string goalie for Henry Clay's girls soccer team. He might know her. He's like our Mel Kiper, Coach. He knows everybody. He's like Mel Kiper. He knows everybody. Jared Peck does.
Sir. All right, man. Another great show. Also, check out our this week's Sunday conversation. We're gonna have Coach Ethan Ashley on talking about the importance of value.
Coach, stop right now. I don't mean to cut y'all, but bring the camera in close, Coach. All right, folks, y'all are slipping on these Sunday conversations. We've had some of the biggest names around the state on these Sunday conversations. Try to give you something different. We've had Landon Young on, about to be drafted to the NFL. We've had Coach James on, talking about his big decision to move back to Franklin County from Highlands. We've got Coach Ethan Ashley coming on this Sunday. Man, y'all slipping, man. This is big primetime TV. Make sure you get on there and watch it every Sunday, the Big Things Kentucky Sunday Conversation.
Coach, man, I couldn't have said it better myself. But tune in next Sunday for this week's Sunday Conversation.
All right, as always, you should be a living donor. I'm Coach Bew, my main man, Coach TB on the side. Coach Truck with all 28 NFL teams. Anything else?
Peace.